But moving on from the novel to the well-worn.
Yeah.
We're covering Alan Wake again on this channel.
Again.
In some limited form here. Because we had a very interesting DLSS ray reconstruction demo featuring Alan Wake 2. So why don't you take it away, Alex?
This one was the old model, the CNN model on the left, running versus on the right, the new Transformer model. And ray reconstruction, as Rich talked about it in his video and our first impressions, and obviously we would love to do more dedicated, like we actually look at it in a big way in a video. But in the meantime, we just saw it here. And much like Rich, we saw like elevated quality across the board. No matter what you looked at in Alan Wake, like they showed off this table here, really a lot better surface detail on the table, better reflection of the actual normals there. If you look at like the spinning fan on the ceiling as well too, ray reconstruction is way better than standard noisers, even in the old 3.5 CNN version of it. It was just way better in a lot of ways, but it had issues. But Alan Wake 2 was one of the games that actually had less issues in Alan Wake 2 than it had in Cyberpunk. It was already looking pretty good, actually.
It actually looked like, from a normal viewing distance, I wasn't really identifying any issues with it, whereas in Cyberpunk, that wasn't really the case. Like, you could definitely see, like, there are some issues with the faces, and when colors are not quite right, when you get indirectly lit areas, it doesn't look so great, and you get that kind of, like, odd warping and warbling to certain edges.
Yeah.
With Alan Wake, it looked pretty fantastic, but here it just, like, looks even more kind of next-level stuff.
Yeah, and, there's a lot of other things that'll be, much like we saw in Cyberpunk there. But here, like, side-by-sides, it's just, like, a lot less ghosting, just more detail, better reflections, etc. It was across the board. And this is one that I think there's probably in all due time, if the hardware's there, if I have the hardware, it would be something that I would cover in like a dedicated video at some point. But there's so much going on that we'll see if and when that happens, Yeah.
It was certainly very impressive. Even on some things that weren't lacking at all in Alan Wake 2's ray reconstruction implementation, like the quality, the fidelity, the sharpness of the ray traced reflections. We even did note, like, they're a little bit sharper, they're a little bit cleaner, the lines are a little bit more finely detailed in the new DLSS 4 version. So I thought that was really cool. Yeah,
last thing to mention here is that this demo was not using the fully updated version of Alan Wake 2 that's going to be coming out in some point in the near future, which will add ray reconstruction as well as multi-frame gen. This did not have like the enhancements to ray tracing, as well as it did not have mega geometry, because those are other things that are going to be added to Alan Wake 2. Oh my gosh, they are doing so much stuff. Like, this is ridiculous. I have no idea how we cover this.
On top of like already what's like one of the best looking games in the market, to pull this off as well, it's certainly an extremely impressive accomplishment.